Perfect. We are now live.
Okay, I see that we have a few people funneling into the room. Welcome, welcome. I see Jonathan, I see Lolita. We're just gonna wait for everyone to make their way into the room. It sometimes takes a minute before the attendee list populates, so we're gonna get started in a minute or two. Stay tuned.
We should play some like hold music. Like
get the energy going, you know?
That's all I got.
That was perfect. I think the energy is high now. If you can just have that on loop for the next 2 minutes, that would be perfect.
Right.
That's all you're getting from me. I'm sorry
about that. I saw someone. You gave us a taste.
I saw someone tweet that Zoom should actually incorporate that, like some sort of like hold music or whatever, and like intro music for speakers. And I'm like, that would actually be so smart and brilliant. So hopefully they're working on that on the back end.
Well, hopefully they're hearing all these tips.
I was actually part of a Zoom. I was part of a Zoom event like a couple weeks ago, and the highlight of the entire event was that they had an actual like a dance instructor give us like a 10-minute like dance break in the middle. Literally made my day, and I'm not like a dancer, but it was super fun. So Zoom should do something.
I love that. That's a great idea, because we got to get creative and spicing things up, you know, with Zooms, because every day, right, day in, day out. Tanya, we were talking about this earlier, right? So anything that can just give a nice break to break up the monotony of it all. I mean, and who doesn't like a nice dance session? Don't know if I'll be on video for that part, but
yes, exactly.
I think we're. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say last week there was a conference, Afrotech, and they actually created a world where you were an avatar. So it was very like Sims, and you could like change your outfit and like, you know, your accessories, and then you enter the world, and then you physically walk into a room and sit down and watch the presentations. Then they had all these extras. There was a club, so they had like Mario and Jadena, and then there was a beach. You could go play soccer on the yard. I'm like they elevated virtual conference and events. I'm like, if it doesn't look like that, I don't want to go anymore. I'm so sad.
Right.
Okay, I see that we have a few more people who have entered the room, so I think we're okay to get started. Whoever enters after the fact, they'll just join right into the conversation, just like these folks have. Our brief conversation before actually starting the session. Welcome to everyone who has joined us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to attend Branded 2020. For those of you who were on our session earlier with Ryan Knight, welcome back. It's great to have you. And for those of you who are just joining us, for these two amazing women to learn more about social media and how you can enhance your own digital strategies, welcome to you. If you've never been to Branded before, you're in for a treat. Branded is an annual event that invests, connects, and levels up Black, newcomer, and most vulnerable youth entrepreneurs. Through investing, we've invested over $100,000 in youth businesses through our pitch contests and contracted services. Connected, we have connected over 200 youth entrepreneurs to mentors and to industry experts to our networking sessions. And we're all about leveling up businesses, taking businesses to the next level, both financially and with knowledge. And this is the first year that Branded is 100% digital. So we're really excited to be joined by two amazing women that are really immersed in the digital realm, that are experts in social media, Sarah Jane Guerra and Tanya Hales. And I'm just going to do some brief bios so you know who you are dealing with tonight, the kind of knowledge that you're about to engage in. Sarah Jane is the founder of Squish Social, a Facebook advertising agency that helps Shopify store owners scale their businesses to 6 figures and beyond. She's been the digital advertising space and has been responsible for quite a few viral posts. Sarah Jane is a lead trainer at Facebook and has a passion for speaking and educating about the newest trends on its related networks. She also is a facilitator at Bits. In her free time, she likes to bake and whip up masterpieces in the kitchen. She hopes to help hundreds, if not thousands, of business owners dominate with digital marketing. And Tanya Hales is an award-winning event planner and creative storyteller, using various mediums to evoke emotions, create change, and magnify moments through the spoken or written word. She is also the founder of Black Moms Connection, an online global village of almost 20,000 and a nonprofit organization providing culturally relevant programs and resources to educate and empower the Black mother and her family. Tanya recently launched her diversity and inclusion agency, Color in White Spaces, designed to disrupt and make the conversations about anti-Black racism real and relatable. Please welcome our speakers for the evening. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you were on the sessions in the yesterday and the earlier today, you'll have seen that we did almost a keynote style conversation where we started with one speaker, they did their talk, and we opened it to Q&A. In this case, Sarah Jane is going to be providing us with her top 3 tips on social media, and then Tanya will be providing us with some tips, and then we'll open it to the audience. So please ask your questions in the Q&A, because that's how we're going to see what you need help with and how we're going to be able to facilitate the conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Sarah Jane to really kick this off.
Okay. First of all, so happy to be here. Thank you all so much for having me. If you can see my slides, please let me know. We can see them. Awesome. Okay, so in these 5 minutes, I'm going to share with you 2 tips that can help you kill it on social. So first is sell through service. People actually aren't looking for problems, or they're not looking for products, not problems either, when they're on social media. They're actually looking for solutions. So it's important to get on the platform, not with the intent to sell, but with the intent to help. And a great example of a company that did this was Airbnb. Airbnb, if you're unfamiliar, is an online marketplace for arranging lodging and tourism experiences. And we're all very familiar with this brand and what they do. And when they set to market, they noticed 3 problems in the market. A, price is an important concern for customers booking to travel online. 2, if you wanted to visit a specific location, there was a real disconnect from the actual culture of the location versus tourist areas. So they noticed that when you stay in a hotel, there's generally a disconnect. And 3, that there's no easy way to just book a room for a short period of time or become a host for people in a short period of time as well. So what did they do? Well, they set out to create Airbnb. And so there was 2 markets here, one being people who were looking for short-term stays, and 2, ways for homeowners to make more income by renting out a room and not necessarily committing to something like a long-term lease or renting out their extra rooms for something that is a longer period of time. And so what Airbnb thought to do was they didn't think for a product, they looked for a solution. And so in the same way, people come on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to be entertained, to share pictures of cats and dogs, jokes, funny things, not to be sold. So if you are selling something, you better make sure that it's A, good, but B, solve the problem that people are having and will make them care enough to stop, click, and book or purchase. The second tip I have for social media domination is build relationships every single step of the way. So the most profitable brands on social media are those that focus on building relationships with their customers. Brands have to do something different to set themselves apart from their competitors. Consumers are so smart nowadays. We know what feels corny, what feels slimy, what feels like a sell. So it's going to take something more than just posting and going, free ebooks or webinars to really get people through the door. So a brand who did a great example of this was actually Dove. And Dove has always been a brand that's about women's empowerment, and they've never really used models for advertising, but they've always promoted real women. And they've been known to have a number of campaigns just about self-love, acceptance, and body positivity. In one case, they did a Dove ad makeover. So for ads, instead of running ads about, for example, beauty, they instead use search terms like plastic surgery, I hate my body, holiday, bikini, diet, and gym. And so instead, what they did was they would run ads for those search terms. So whenever somebody put in holiday, bikini, diet, I hate my body, plastic surgery, instead of seeing the best results for the plastic surgeons in Toronto, instead what they saw were these ads by Dove. And so in the time of the campaign, none of the negative word ads were shown to people. Instead, they were shown positive Dove ads. So Dove actually paid double to ensure that women would see these messages and so that women could create these positive messages actually in app. They even went as far as to allow people on Facebook to kind of leave a positive message, something more personalized and not so fake. And it really promoted the message of self-love and acceptance to these women. So this is a way of building relationships. This was a while back when, you know, ad networks were very different than what we see right now. But do you see how this would place Dove in a positive light versus other brands? And it actually said that 71% more women who participated said they felt much more comfortable and beautiful after the campaign. And finally, you want to build emotional connections. Neuroscientists have actually found that 95% of purchase decision-making takes place subconsciously. We feel first, and then we think second. So it's not saying that your marketing has to evoke tears. It doesn't have to be soft or heartwarming, but you have to go in with a mission. Great example of this is Patagonia. They are the king and queens of creating relationship marketing and creating incredible experiences for their users. So in 2016, around this time, Black Friday, instead of giving 1% of their profits for the planet, they instead decided that they were going to give 100% of the profits from Black Friday to grassroots and nonprofit organizations. What happened? Trended on Twitter, trended on Facebook. They got 60,000 new Facebook followers in 2 days. Emma Watson, Al Gore, New York Times, CNN, Forbes, Washington Post, Huffington Post. And not only that, but they saw in-store traffic up 17% and in-store sales up 76%. They projected to make $2 million. They ended up making 10. So this isn't because they're just an amazing company. They love the planet so much. We're not asking you to do this altruistically or for no reason or for no return. We're just asking you to do this because it pays off. And asking you to do this because relationship marketing is profitable. And so with that being said, I like to end every talk I do with the following statement. The secret to social media success is to think and act like your customer first and a marketer second.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, and I think at this point we're going to lead into Tanya to go in for your tips, and then after that we'll lead into some fire burning questions. So the audience, please post your questions in the Q&A section, and let's talk social media strategy. Whenever
Awesome.
You're ready, Tanya.
Thank you so much, Sarah Jane. That was great. I was making notes in my head. I was trying not to write so that I could actually concentrate. So no slides from me. As you heard in my bio, I'm a creative storyteller. So I like to tell stories and give examples. And even just in terms of, okay, 5 minutes, 3 tips, I came up with a little bit more. You know, right now, the conversation that's trending on social media, ironically enough, is about social media. Twitter last night, they launched Fleets, which is basically Instagram stories, which is basically copied by Snapchat. So what that's telling us is that these social media platforms are paying attention to what their competitors are doing and trying to figure out a way to steal audiences from there. There's a new platform called Clubhouse. It's still invite only. It's very exclusive right now. And then Twitter is going to launch something called Spaces. So what that tells you is that you can still be in your lane, but you still got to pay attention to what's happening around you. social media tip number one, videos are king. Social media platforms want to keep you on their platforms for as long as possible. That's why Reels is got its own button on Instagram right now, because they want you to make videos, they want you to watch videos. The more you're watching videos on Facebook, the less you are not on Facebook. So if that's not something that you're super comfortable with, even boomerangs technically count as videos. So you don't necessarily have to like get a ring light and put yourself on a mic if you're not comfortable. But even if you're like, oh, I'm baking, or I'm assembling a product, or I'm getting ready for school, whatever it is that your product or business is, you can make a boomerang and that still counts as a video. That's a little cheat code. Be strategic. I think when new platforms come out, everyone rushes to it and thinks from a business standpoint, you have to be on every platform. You do not. Actually, it's highly recommended that you don't try to be on every platform. So for me, it's just like, okay, Facebook is where moms are. So Facebook is really important. So we have a Facebook page and we have a Facebook group, more on that later. You know, and visual creatures, they're on Instagram. You know, for pop culture, that's definitely for Twitter. TikTok is, you know, trending for Gen Z and a younger generation. So you, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, you should know who your target demographic is, who your audience is, who you're trying to sell to, and find out where they are, and sell there, and hire Sarah Jane, especially if you're interested in in Facebook ads and maximizing your time on that particular platform. Number three kind of bleeds into that one, is find your niche. So if you're in like the crafting world, you're a wedding planner, Pinterest is where you should be. Pinterest is the secret weapon of social media, right? And similarly to like LinkedIn is kind of like the ugly step cousin that no one really wants to talk about, even though they launched their own versions of stories too, but for why? But these platforms all have a very specific target. And, you know, just like if you are a musical artist, like you have to be on SoundCloud and all those other places where people who are interested in music are. You know, so sometimes I'm just like, ignore the big ones. If that's not where your audience is and is going to help you grow your business, then, you know, focus on where they're going to be. But don't forget these kind of hidden gems like the Pinterests and the other platforms of the world. Community and collaboration over everything. I'm really big on this. I'm really big on relationships. And as Sarah Jane mentioned, you know, if you are a clothing brand, why aren't you reaching out to accessories brands? And then you guys put together a whole outfit and now you have double the audience coming to your one post. If you are a makeup artist, then you should be collaborating with hairstylists. You know, not everybody is competition. I promise you, Rihanna didn't look at MAC and L'Oreal and say, I'm not dropping a beauty line because there's beauty lines already out there. She said, the problem is there's a whole bunch of women who can't find their shades when they go into a store. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna make $100 million in 60 days. You go grocery shopping, there's like 14 different types of bread. Bread companies like, no, there's already bread on the market. No, if you have a specific problem that you're solving, like Sarah Jane mentioned, you can market your bread literally and make bread. See what I did there? Huzzah. Last but not least, be authentic. As Sarah Jane mentioned, you know, people know when they're being sold to. People buy from people, not brands. Ivy Park is successful because people think they're shopping from Beyonce and not Adidas. And even though that's what shows up on your credit card receipts when you actually manage to buy some Ivy Park. So, you know, that's smart. That's the branding, right? Cardi B has a line with Reebok. Meg Thee Stallion just dropped something with Fashion Nova tonight. You know, like all these celebrity brands partnering with these big corporations. Who are you buying from, right? Who are you following? Who are you supporting it? Why are you supporting it? They're very smart in that way. And the final story and how I even got here, Black Moms Connection is, as Christopher mentioned in the bio, it started as a Facebook group. I just wanted a space where I could ask blackety black questions and get blackety black answers, because most mom groups on Facebook are very homogenous and not very diverse. That was 2015 in January 2015. Slow going, didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, yeah, grow it and they will come. And that's not how it goes. Spring 2016, we went from 400 to 4,000 in 2 months. And I realized that was literally the beginning of Black Lives Matter in the US. So we had a huge influx of US moms needing a safe space to say, I'm afraid for myself, I'm afraid for my son, and be able to have the conversations. We incorporated later that year so we could take the conversations offline. Because the other tip is also, it's great to use these social media platforms, but you have to ensure that you are building something off of them, because if they decide to kick you off, you've lost your entire audience. So my heart palpitates every time I really think about the heartbeat of BMC is on Facebook. If Facebook ever kicked us off, where's all of BMC, right? They're going to be scattered all in the internets. And the group has grown, and it grows because we moderate it. It grows because we provide value. We solve a problem. We provide culturally relevant tools and resources. We're paying rent. We're giving out grants. We talk about sex, all the things that moms weren't able to do in other spaces. And so now we've got chapters in Asia, across the US, across Canada. Between Instagram and Facebook, we have, probably over 20,000 moms globally, worldwide, and a brand that has been, we've partnered this year alone with L'Oreal, with BMO, with TD. So, we're being vetted and kind of given a stamp of approval by these major global brands, but we didn't build it with that purpose. We built it just to be a safe space above all else. And I think that's why it grows. So that is my time, but hopefully you got a chance to, absorb some of those quick tips on social media.
Okay. Thank you so much for all of the knowledge that you've provided. I'm sure that everybody's already taken away so much. And really, for everybody in the audience right now, I want to encourage you to ask your questions. This evening is for you. It's all about really solving those issues that are specific to your business. So if you haven't already taken a look at the feature in Zoom that allows you to ask questions to our guests for tonight, Sarah Jane Guerra and Tanya Hales, please do that. But just to kind of kick things off and get the ball rolling, I have a question for you, Sarah Jane. How do you get more people interested in buying a product? Like, what are some of the tips that you would provide in terms of getting more people interested in specifically buying a product?
I would say that getting more people interested requires you to be interesting. So that's like a really big thing I find, is that the strategy for a lot of people is post and go. It's put something out there and get off the platform. And I think the name social media has lost its weight because people are not willing to be social. And so if your social media strategy consists of quotes and product photos alone, you see how you're not trying to be something worth talking about. I think it's important to create with the intention to either A, teach, which is my favorite thing to do, or create with the intention to have content that has shareability factor. If you're not innovating, if you're not doing anything interesting, if you're not being creative, then why are you on the platform? And there are many ways to be creative with products. There are tons of t-shirt lines. There are tons of skincare lines, but some are really successful and some aren't. And that's just lies in their goal for being on the platform. So if you want to sell more products, if you want to generate more interest in people buying, try and be interesting.
Awesome. Amazing. That is a really salient point, not just being a marketer, but really focusing on what your audience is going to gravitate towards and being interesting for your audience. I like that. And a question for really both of you, but starting with you, Tanya. In this environment that we're in, with COVID-19 and all the changes that we've seen, what do you see as the future of social media marketing, and where is it going?
I think the future of social media marketing, as I mentioned, is videos. They themselves will tell you that if you kind of are doing some research on social media, that is their number one end goal, because that's where they can sneak in those 10-second ads, right? Like, that is how you have to remember that these products and tools are free for us to use. That means that we are the product. So they want a way to sell to us, and sneaking in those ads in the middle of a video, even if that video is 30 seconds, they're going to get that 5-second product shot. And companies pay a whole heap of dollars to be able to do that. So I think it's, I personally think that we're leaning towards all of these social medias just combining forces. I think Facebook is just going to end up buying everybody, because they have the most coins. And then we're just going to figure out, okay, who are you trying to talk to and how, and going in that direction.
And do you have an opinion on that as well, Sarah Jane?
No, I think Tanya hit checked all the boxes. She's on fire tonight.
Awesome. And I guess for both of you as well, just one other question I have here. How do you come back as a business after a period of social media burnout?
I'll speak to that because despite my job description, I am a frequent absentee social media participant. And so I say you want to come back, just go hard or go home. And if you want to come back, you have to understand that people have not seen you. And unfortunately, your absence has taught people that you're inconsistent. And so in order to become relevant again, you have to be on fire by posting consistently and let people know that, hey guys, like this is not like a joke. I'm actually back, like for real. In some ways to do this, I say it's never a good look to recognize, point out, or identify the fact that you've been gone. I do say this because by proclaiming that, you're teaching your audience that, hey guys, I'm inconsistent. Hey guys, I don't show up often. So when I say I'm back, it's like, oh, this again. And you know that in like 3 weeks, the person will probably be MIA. And that's okay if that's you. But I definitely say if you want to get back, just go hard or go home. Like plan your return back. You took 3 months off, have something to show for it. Make 6 videos, make 6 posts, and come back, be on stories every day. That type of thing. If you've been gone for 3 months, you can take another month and create 3 months worth of content. So that's what I recommend.
Amazing. And we had a question from B that was literally took it right out of my mind. She was asking, is it crucial to post every day? So you're talking about consistency, but would there be like consistency maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple times a week, or we see a lot of people posting every day. Is that crucial?
I don't think it's necessarily crucial to post every day. I think the key is to be consistent. So if you have Freaky Fridays, then post Freaky Fridays every Friday. People will look for your Freaky Friday post, right? Wisdom Wednesday, I love alliteration. Throwback Thursday, like whatever it is that you're doing, just be consistent with it. And I say that being a culprit, right? I took the time during COVID to do a rebrand. So I put like rebrand and refresh, and that was my Instagram kind of grid post for a hot minute. And then I came back and I created a whole calendar for the year. You know how there's like National Ice Cream Day, National plan to see day. There's literally a whole calendar. Go through that. Find the ones that are relevant to your particular business and then post on those days. Create a plan. You have to plan. I think the biggest misconception around social media is that you can just post willy-nilly when it comes to your mind and then that's enough, right? Stealing a picture off of Google, you know, is fine. It's just like, no, please look for a royalty-free stock image that you can use. Please acquaint yourself with Canva, the goats of creating these social media assets. Use Creator Studio. Creator Studio is, I love it so much. It's a Facebook tool. So it's a schedule. It's kind of like Hootsuite, but better. It's specifically for Facebook and Instagram. You can schedule live. I think you can schedule IGTV and to your actual feed. You can't schedule Reels just yet. You can schedule to your Facebook page. You can schedule to your Facebook. You can't schedule to your Facebook group just yet. But because it's a Facebook tool, it boosts up the posts in algorithm, right? So when you use a third party like Hootsuite or whatever, Facebook and IG know that. So they're just like, they're using something that we don't own. But if you use Creator Studio, it's like, oh, they're using our platform. We're going to give them a little gold star, a little extra boost for that. So Creator Studio is something to get acquainted with for sure, but it's not crucial to post every day if you're not saying anything, because then people will know you're just posting for the sake of posting.
Right. That's a good point too. And I think that if you're just posting for the sake of posting, then you no longer become interesting. You no longer remain interesting, I'll say, right? So the quality of the content is also very much important as much as the consistency. Amazing. So I have a question here from B to Sarah. I don't quite understand how to use that metric, the share or save story metric on Instagram to analyze competitors. Is there any chance you could elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So the actual original question from B was, how do I measure or gauge shareability factor, and how do I become interesting on the platform? So if you go on Instagram and you can't analyze this for competitors, only yourself. If you go on Instagram and you have a business account, if you just press insights, if you go to one of your posts and you press view insights, you'll see 4 icons there. You'll see a heart, which means the like. You'll see like a comment thing, which means the comment. You'll see an arrow, and that means how many people have either A, sent it to somebody like via DM, or B, sent it on their story. And then you'll also see a little ribbon, and that ribbon represents the number of people who have saved your post. So if you check out your insights on your Instagram page, the one that truly has the most value or the most weight, it's not the likes, it's not the comments, it's actually the shares and those saves. So shareability, if you go and sort your posts through the number of shares it has received, you'll see then the type of content you should be creating in order to promote the shareability factor. If you're educating on your platform, if you're teaching people, maybe you're in a service-based industry, education is huge. So you take a look at that save metric to let you know, oh, wait, I made this type of post. And it enabled me to get 50, 60, or in some cases, if you're starting out, 5, 6 shares. It tells you the type of content you should be creating more of. So take a look at the analytics, the type of content that got the most shares and saves, and that will kind of let you know what you should be creating in future. If you have a newer account, you don't have a ton of engagement, you don't have a ton of followers, comments are good enough, and you can kind of build your way from there. But the goal is to create content that gets saved and gets shared.
That's amazing advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I assume that's specifically with the business accounts on Instagram, correct?
That's correct.
An amazing tool to use to kind of figure out how you want to change what content to put forth. So thank you. So we have another question here. How do we monetize social media? So this is open to Sarah and Tanya. If you want to share any insights on really getting into that space to monetize social media.
Do you want to
I'll
go
take-
first, Sarah Jane?
Yeah,
Since
I'll take a stab at it because monetization is my favorite thing.
That's your jam.
I feel like you should be on the platform if you're not monetizing. No, but realistically, monetization, if we break it down, is actually the concept of creating a system or a strategy to make sales repeatable, right? So you can make a sale, and that's you peddling product to your friends, your family, and those in your immediate network, and that's fine. But the thing about a sale is that a sale is finding anyone who's willing to buy your product. Oftentimes it can seem transactional, and it's just finding someone who's willing to buy from you and selling to them. However, the process of monetization is a little bit different. It's about finding a specific someone to buy, and it requires systems and structures to make sales repeatable. And it's about taking people through a journey, right? So how do you monetize on social media? Well, you first have to identify, okay, where is my target demographic hanging out? Finding a specific somebody. So you could be like Tanya and be looking in Facebook groups for the types of people who'd be interested in your product. You could be checking out relevant hashtags. You could be finding the top 10 competitors or the top 10 places where your target hangs out and making yourself present over there, right? So first finding those specific people, where are they at? You've got to locate them. The next thing you need to do is you need to have a system or a strategy to make sales repeatable. How do people get products from you? What does that journey look like? Does it look like you joining a Facebook group, writing value posts every other day in the Facebook group where your target is, having someone leave an interested comment in said post and you DMing them? Is that what the sales process looks like? Or does it look like you going on Instagram, putting out a call to action on your story, someone DMing you, and you then selling to them there? So first, you have to build a system and a structure and essentially a funnel and a plan. Don't let the word funnel scare you. It just means A, B, C, and D. And figuring out, okay, well, what's my goal? Then you can have a system and structure. So if you know that posting in a Facebook group and doing 3 value posts a week, and a value post is just making a post that provides value to the people in the group with the intention to connect with people or sell to people, then you'll be able to have replicable success. Okay, I make a value post 3 times a week. I get 10 inquiries, 1 of them closes. Now you have a system and a structure in order to monetize or in order to do that. And finally, it's taking them through a journey. Every single person who reaches out to you should have the same experience with you. That's what monetization is. Selling or sales or one-time sales, peddling product is just like, oh, if I'm gonna deliver to them via Canada Post, that's what I'm gonna do. Or if they're gonna come to my house and pick it up, that's what I'm gonna do. That's a sale, it's a transactional, it's one-on-one. But monetization is more about building a system. So that's how you monetize on social or in life in general.
I love
Whew.
that.
Whew.
Just
That
to,
was fire.
I know, like, she's just like, this is my bag, this is my jam. What I will say that brought up while you were talking, this whole like, DM me for pricing. I hate that so much. I hate it so much. I hate it so much because what it tells me is that your pricing may not be consistent from person to person. It may be on a whim. I'm just like, listen, I'm a service-based person, meaning that my labor is the product and I have an hourly rate. And so when people are like, can you plan my wedding? How much is it going to cost? I'm like, well, it depends on what you want me to do. But I would never say that in the DMs. I'm just like, hey, shoot me an email. I want to get to know more about your wedding. How many people? What time of year? Blah, 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 blah. I need a whole bunch of more questions answered before I can give them a number. But DM me for pricing or whatever. If you don't have a website, I'm just like, please, I need you to have a domained email address. I need you to have a website that is yours, because your Instagram page cannot be your only business website, right? If your only place for people to see your product is on Instagram, what happens if your Instagram account gets canceled? Then you have no business website, and then you will be sad because then you can't make sales. So you need to own, like, social media is being a renter, and mailing lists and website is being a homeowner. You want to be a homeowner when it comes to your business, because then you can communicate with these people however you want, whenever you want, and you're not beholden to other people's terms of services, right? No one has read the TOS when they join Facebook, Instagram, all these places. We don't know what they're able to do. I run a Black group on Facebook. We all know that Facebook is a little, they have some issues with the things, it can kind of get a little dicey. And I'm like, any day now, one person could say something left sideways. Actually, we had a mom say, "I hate men" the other day, and she got banned for like a week.
LOL.
Just for saying, "I hate men." She's a woman. That statement has been written everywhere in the history of time, but and yet, so for me, I'm just like, you have to be really mindful of those things. So yes, please. But my other 2 cents in terms of monetization, I'm just speaking from BMC standpoint. We charge companies to advertise to our audience. Moms are the largest target demographic because moms buy everything. We buy cars, we buy homes, we buy things for our children, we buy food. Even if married moms, 80% of moms are the decision in the financial purse holders, wallet holders in the household. So moms are the target demographic for everything. In America, Black women are a huge, huge target demographic. So you put those 2 together, there's tons of people who want to sell things. They want us to help them with their research projects. They want us to advertise their events. They want to do all these things. And before I was just like, sure, why not? Sure, why not? And then I was like, this is time and labor to do these things, especially if they don't come to me with assets. They don't come to me with a caption already made for me. So now we have a partnership kit. And I'm like, if you want to be posted on our platforms, you have to pay us. I spent 5 years creating a target audience. That is very valuable. Right. And it's large. So that's why brands are like, you have how many women, how many moms that listen to you? I'm just like, a lot. Right. And that's how those partnerships exist. So when you're thinking about collaborating with partners and other companies, please don't be transactional with them. Right. I don't go to the bank and say, I want this amount of money and you should support us because we're a good cause. I ask the banks, what do they want? What are they focused on, right? TD, they have 5 very clear mandates. So I'm not going to go to TD if I don't fall within one of those 5 mandates. I go to them, I'm like, hey, we have a financial literacy event. One of their pillars is financial literacy. Do you want to fund it? Sure thing, Tanya. Fantastic, right? And now it's a mutually beneficial relationship because I am doing something for them that they want and I get money in return. And I also get the clout of having TD as a sponsor, right? So this is mutually beneficial. You cannot always go to people with your hand out and expect that they're going to open your wallets, their wallets. They don't know you, right? You wouldn't open your wallet to a stranger on the street. This is no different. And from a nonprofit standpoint, specifically, people get caught up all the time in like, oh, well, we're a good cause and this, that, the other. I'm like, sponsorship is not about philanthropy. It's about marketing, right? Dove is not going to partner with BMC because we're nice. They're going to partner because they want to sell soap to moms, right? They have a marketing budget. That's where that money is going to come from. So you have to be really strategic in terms of how are you going to monetize. When we launched our merch line, I asked the moms, I'm like, what do you guys want? Right now I have my target demographic is the group. So I don't launch a product or a service. I'm like, hey guys, we're going to do a conference. What do you guys want to talk about? I build the conference around what they've told me, and then they buy the tickets. We launch programs. We have a financial literacy event. We have merch. We have other things, but I ask them first. And then that way they're my test. They're my demographic. They're the people who are going to be buying. They're the people who are going to share with other people. The quality and standards that I have are really high, and the moms, especially the longer standing mom members, know that. So they're just like, okay, Tanya's not just running some like bootleg little event, it's going to start on time. It's going to run on time. She's going to feed us. She's going to have high quality speakers. She's going to give us value for our money. So you have to have, like Sarah Jane said, like you have to have a plan. Otherwise you're just going to be doing these one-offs and constantly chasing, being like the hamster in the wheel.
Right. Amazing. Really good advice from both of you guys. And we do have an audience member that wants to connect with you, Tanya. She's asking, is it possible to connect with you, get some mentorship, chat about, the business, because she is in that industry as well too. So she maybe after, or maybe I can privately, if that's okay, I can then share your contact. Is that something that you'd like to? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let me just, I do, another question from the audience. Do you have any advice for someone who's starting on social media marketing from scratch? For example, how do I get the first 1,000 followers? How do we do it?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Getting to your first 1,000 followers is grunt work. This is like the first milestone that you need to be taken seriously on Instagram. Unfortunately, if you have less than 1,000 followers, everyone essentially believes that you are a personal account. So, and not only just having 1,000 followers, but having a decent ratio as well that shows your expertise, right? And for those who don't know, having a ratio essentially means making sure that you're following less people than are following you to a specific degree. Some people are very extra with it, so they'll have 2 million followers and follow one person, being their wife, etc. But other people, they maybe have 10,000 followers, they follow 600. So how to get to your first 1,000 followers is not dependent on other people, that's dependent on you. And so that's the grunt work of engagement, meaning you engaging with other people, not you begging people to engage with you, right? That social piece, like you got to go out there into these hashtag streets and leave some valuable comments to get people to actually want to check out your content. This is the grunt work that nobody wants to do, right? But this is the grunt work that will get you to 1,000 followers and beyond for you to tackle that 10,000 followers tip. So engaging with your target demographic, not your friends and family, not your homegirl who started a business, your target demographic. Where are they? If you are selling hair products, you need to be on, for example, the Curl Box's Instagram, the Curl Box's founder's Instagram. Find 10, and this is like some elite tips, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, because I support. Find 10 people who have the audience of your target demographic. Turn on post notifications for all 10 of those people or those brands. When they post, you will get a notification. Your job is to go over to that person's profile and leave a long, genuine, heartfelt comment that is related to their content and leave it there first. Your goal here is to get your comment pinned. When your comment is pinned, their audience becomes your audience because their 50,000 followers who are following them, who are viewing their content, will go to that post, see your pinned post, which is now at the top, see it get a ton of likes. And this is why the turning on the post notifications is important, because you're there first. If you're there first and it's genuine, chances are the person's still on the platform. You'll get a response and you'll probably get pinned. You now have 25 likes on your comment on Instagram. Those 50,000 followers become your followers because they will check out your page. If you're posting relevant, important, valuable content in your page, that's how you scoop up organic followers for your page. That's 10 accounts, post notifications, long, genuine, meaningful comment with the option, and the goal is to get likes on that comment and ultimately to get that comment pinned. This is what I mean when I say grunt work to grow your account from 0 to 1,000. It requires you to go out there. Stop begging people to comment on your post. Stop begging people to share your post. Go out there and be social, right? There even may be a situation or a circumstance where those 10 people who have the audience of your heart's desire will either follow you, engage with you, share or put on your content. So this is how you grow your account from 0 to 1,000. Not only do you have to do the grunt work of doing that engagement, you also have to make sure that your profile is optimized, okay? Does your bio directly tell people what it is that you do, how you can help them, and where they can find you, right? Nothing peeves me most. Trying to grow your account, why are you on private? Trying to grow your account, no website or link in your bio, right? Like, These are the things that we need to do in order to give people room to help us. 0 to 1,000 is the hardest milestone you'll get. 1,000 plus, it's all gravy. So that 0 to 1,000 is that engagement, optimizing your profile in a way that people know what you do as soon as they see you. Give them a way to stay and give them a way to reach out to you and have good, valuable content. I saw a question to something that I'm saying, which was, what if those 10 accounts are competitors or sell the same products that you sell? Should I steer clear? Be vigilant, like be guided, right? So for example, if you are, and it depends also on the size of the account, right? If it's 50,000 followers, they don't even know who you are. They don't care. The owner's not there. It's probably a social media intern. Go there, comment. You'll be surprised, right? If it's your local competitor who lives down the street for you and has 2,000 followers, don't be that guy. Still leave a genuine comment. You're not promoting product. You're not pitching yourself in the comments. You're actually leaving a relevant comment to what they're saying, right? So it doesn't matter if they're local. You know, nowhere in this comment should it be, and anyway, we make dresses too. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Make sure that you're literally just based on the content. You can find something to say about a dress, I promise.
Right.
Yes.
This is amazing tips. Amazing tips all around.
All the finger snaps.
Another
I got nothing
question.
to add. Like, I have nothing. Okay. There's no, like, you know, I think for me, with BMC specifically, our growth came out of nowhere, right? We weren't prepared for it. And then we have these crazy spikes every so often. So there was a point where Facebook was like, hey, remember when Black things were really popular in June? It was a cute moment in Black history. So Facebook's like, hey, we want to put Black Moms Connection in our internal newsletter. I'm like, all right. And then the next day we had 900 people try to join Facebook. I was like, okay, Facebook, that's a lot, right? And everyone thinks that they want to go viral, but if you don't have any of these processes and plans in place that Sarah Jane mentioned about monetization, about content, it's not going to end well the way that you think that it will, right? The people that you see, you know, who's that? Super Scent with the crayon box or something like that.
Love her.
She's amazing, but she had been putting in the work before she hit that crazy viral moment of selling $1 million worth of products in like an hour or whatever it is. Everyone that you see go viral has done all the things that Sarah Jane has mentioned throughout this session.
Actually, to kind of weigh in on that, there was a post that went viral on Twitter 3 months ago, and it was an artist who had like made a print, and she registered a ton of interest, like thousands and thousands of people. You saw that, thousands of people. And then, circa 3 months, so like 2-3 days ago, she posted like, "Oh my gosh, like nobody bought my print, right? And I can't believe I only got one order for this print." And so it posed the question that, hey, 3 months ago, what did you set up to register people's interest? Even if you didn't have 1,000 prints ready, email list, website, right? Landing page, did you do anything to register someone's interest so that, yeah, sure, you're not a machine. You can't make 1,000 prints in a day, but how can you dropping the print 3 months after the viral moment, it's not going to manifest, right? And as someone who's been an orchestrator of viral posts, let me tell you something. Day 1, day 2, post is finished. Sales have come and sales have gone, and you're back to where you started. So if there's an accidental viral moment, most of the time it's accidental, set something up in a way that you can collect information and connect with people and tell them about said product. I remember I personally went viral about a post. I didn't even expect it. It was from my phone. It was like sideways and blurry. And I was like, I don't even think I should post this. It was like the day after my birthday, I woke up, those are 800 followers, just a crazy. What did I do? I made another post. So, hey, I'm dropping the recipe like tonight. So turn on post notifications, like follow it, et cetera, et cetera. And I managed to amass a great amount of people on my email list. And that post still blows up like till this day, repeated. And I tested something, I posted it again, like 6 months later. Same thing happened. So having a system and a structure and a way to take those people is what's most important. Don't be that girl who made a viral post 3 months ago and instead only one person bought yesterday.
Right.
Oh Lord, that post, and like for me, I didn't see the original viral video. So she's doing a painting. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. Now you can create Twitter threads, and you can do this retroactively, right? So if you're like, oh, I see that this is starting to pick up some traction. Let me add the link if it's not in the original post. First of all, that was her biggest problem. If you're going to post this painting, you want people to buy your art, then put your website in this original post and call it a day. If you're always trying to sell your product and business, don't make people do the extra work. It's kind of like when someone asks on Facebook, what's your Instagram? And then they just put the @ and I'm like, you're going to make me type this whole thing out when you could just you have to do Instagram.com/whatever your Instagram handle is. People are not going to do that extra work. People are lazy. This is why Instagram has now made a shop button. They know people just want to click, 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 go, right? So she didn't set herself up for success to come back 3 months later and also she counted her chickens before they hatched, right? All these people said they were interested, but I'm like, until you start seeing some orders, sis, why were you making a whole bunch of prints? So now she's mad that she has prints that she's sitting on because she went viral, but I went to that original post. It's like three posts down that she posts the link. And then in this new one that she's going viral for, complaining about going viral, it's still not in the email. It's still not in her original tweet thread. I'm just like, sis, I can't support. First of all, I don't support winners, right? Because you didn't set yourself up for success. And yeah, so these are learn from other people's mistakes, man. I think everyone always follows the ones who are successful, but I'm just like, learn from the people who go viral for bad reasons. Hope did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that.
Some great. I'm out here taking notes, and I'm like, I hope everybody on the call is taking notes because this is some really good advice. So I know I need to get myself set up, but all of that makes sense, especially the planning and the process. We see things go viral, and we're like, oh wow, like that's amazing. But every good thing, like you need to plan for it. You need to be ready to be able to monetize and benefit from that, right? Otherwise, it's just going to be gone as quickly as it came in. So that's a really good point. We have a question about, do you have any tips or advice when it comes to reaching out to influencers and making those partnerships?
Yes. I will say really quickly, has a person on, so I don't usually reach out to influencers. I'm just like, I'm going to flex a little bit. I don't pitch. People pitch to me, and it's a really nice position to be in. And so with that, I will say the ones that get my attention and a reply are the ones that have done the work before they have found my email address and whatnot. So what do we do? If you don't know what BMC does and what we do and how we work and what our platform is and all that other fun stuff, then that just shows me that like you're just being lazy. You did some Googles, you came across this website, and then you're just like, okay, well, this seems like it might work for me. You have to look at it from the standpoint of how is it going to work for both sides, right? What is the value, not for me as a person, I don't care, right? But is this going to solve a problem for my moms? Is it going to put money in their pockets? Is it going to keep their babies healthy? Like this is the list of questions. I am a sucker for like the high school students that are working on projects. I'm like, fine, I'll share those because you're a little high school student. I'll share those ones. But story time. I had a company come into my inbox and they sell, Black owned products and, very family oriented. Seems like it would be a match made in heaven. They asked me for like my demographics, my analytics, my this, that, the other. And I'm like, but stop. TD didn't even ask me for that, and they gave me $25,000. What are you talking about? So I replied, I was like, hey, I'm confused. Are you asking me for my analytics for your, yeah, just to see that that this would be a good marketing strategy. I'm like, you have a product that you want to sell to my audience, and you think that I'm going to give you for free my demographics and my analytics? I'm like, that makes no sense to me. And I'm just like, you didn't think this one all the way through. I'm so turned off. Like, I haven't even replied to the second email because I'm just like, it won't be nice. So you have to be, like I said, you have to, you know, look at their posts, look at what are they posting about, right? Like, I'm not going to go to an influencer that, like, I can go to a black woman, cool. She might not necessarily be a mom, but she might, if she's just like, I'm the cool auntie, she might be someone that I might still, you know, chat with. But chances are, if they're not a black mom, they're not the influencer for me, right? Like, people just have to do the research and the work. And it has to be, as I said, really mutually beneficial. And you can go with an ask, and it might not necessarily, you might not get a yes, you might not get a response right away, you might never get a response. And you just have to kind of, like, again, have a plan, and it's just like, all right, next on the list. So yeah, I really, has someone who worked with brands on both sides, has an influencer. I really don't even like that word, to be wholly honest. Yeah, I think that people just really need to, you can't piggyback off of other people's work. They will resent you for it, right? Unless you're just like, hey, I want to pay you $1,000 to post on your Instagram and share it to your audience. And I might still turn it down. It's not about the money for me. It's always going to be about what is the value for the moms. And, you know, that's what it boils down to. And I make that very clear. I've written that on our website. So if you haven't done that research before you come into BMC's inbox, then I'm just like, you weren't paying attention. And then I don't like people who don't pay attention. Please read. We put a lot of effort into the words that go on the places. Please read them.
Yeah, as someone who can provide maybe some advice on the opposite side, so sometimes we do work with, in some cases, to reach out to influencers, sources, people out. As a small business owner, especially when looking to work with micro influencers, is understanding that the goal for a micro influencer is to be a person of influence. So for example, micro, we're talking 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers, 1,000 followers, right? And to put yourselves in their shoes, I also have been on the opposite side as an influencer. When you're early days and you're a small guy, sometimes it's enough that a company wants to send you product, and that's cool. But you have to ask people's permission in order for that to be the arrangement, right? So for example, I've had some partnerships with companies where they're like, hey, can we put you on our PR list? We're going to send you product every single month. Is that cool? Our ask in return is that you review it and maybe post it on your stories, post it on your feed, things of that nature. As a micro influencer at that time, that was fine for me. Hey, I get free product. I put out cool content, and they in turn will get free social media content. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. So sometimes when it's reaching out, don't do the whole, oh, hey, we're looking for influencers, and so as a result, you get 30% off. That's not an influencer strategy. An influencer strategy is partnering with someone and saying, okay, for you, you get free product every month, right? You can set up a system for your business where you can consistently generate content and have fresh photos that aren't A, you in a studio, and B, not you paying a photographer to do this, but in exchange for example, pants and a shirt, this person will create content in such a unique way that you never could, and you get it for the price of pants and a shirt. If you put that person on a PR or we'll send it to you every month, and our ask is that you post once on your feed and post about it on your stories, I think it's important to set boundaries, no matter if it's free, no matter if it's paid. Have something that's laid out. This is what we require from you. Excuse me, this is what we'll be getting in return. I work a lot with folks who use influencer content for advertising purposes. Always be smart with it, regardless if it's like a small exchange, and if ads is part of your strategy, make sure you build something in there to let them know that the content that you're going to be taking will be used on our social media platforms, will be used for advertising purposes. And essentially you're waiving any rights to like remove those rights away from us, because just as, you know, we've worked with people who are using micro influencers, so they're very lax with their intellectual property. There are some people and some bigger influencers who have told us you can only use this video and ads for 60 days, right? So you want to make sure from the business owner perspective that you're still crossing your T's and dotting your I's, ensuring that in exchange for this monthly package of products, in exchange for this thing, we're going to ask of you X, Y, and Z. The thing is, let's be honest, as a small business owner, you don't have a crazy advertising budget. You're not putting the ad on a bus or in Times Square. So don't get too granular like the person who slid into Tanya's DMs. And what's your demographic, please? And we need to know if it's a great investment for us. Things like that, they just come off as honestly uncalled for, especially because we know the truth. It's like you're just starting your business as well. So don't do that. Just be kind, talk to people. People are behind people. Don't get too granular. It's the price of product is probably $7 to $10 in exchange for content that can make your brand look better. So in my case, I just say with micro influencers, try and build a relationship. Tell them you want to give them stuff recurringly. Don't make it transactional, and see how it goes from there. And then decide which influencers actually put their foot in the content. And those will be the ones you want to reward with things like coupon codes. Those are the people that you want to reward with like featuring them on your page. Make them feel special and they'll reward you in return.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. That is good to know. Learning how to read the room as well too, right? Like you both touched on, right? Knowing how the approach is very important, because Tanya, you said, you know, when that person messaged you, you were turned all the way off. It's like,
All the way.
you know, you've had bigger clients like TD reach out and they're not asking for the same things you're asking for, right? And then also on the flip side, as you're making partnerships with micro influencers, you also want to know you have to adjust, right, based off of the influencer that you're dealing with. So this is good stuff. So do any of you guys have any tips, any resources or apps that you could recommend that would be beneficial for content creation and social media? Yeah.
Honestly, I just say it's a matter of preference. Like there's a million different softwares and tools in the world. Planoly, Hootsuite, Later. It's a matter of preference. Creator Studio. No one platform will be the best for everybody. No one platform is the solution for everybody. Prior to doing paid social and ads, I did organic social. I was a Hootsuite gal. Some people hated Hootsuite, but I just needed to be able to post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, multiple platforms. So it was good for me. I liked the janky UX. Some people may not. I don't like things like Later. I don't like Planoly. So find what works for you and just use it, right? At the end of the day, no one software will solve your problems. Create the content, find a way to put it out there and go.
Yeah. I'm so anti Hootsuite.
Yeah, I am too. I hate them.
I'm
my worst
very
days.
much like, I'm like, if I don't like the aesthetics, you've lost me. I know it's so superficial, but I'm just like, I want to like it, because if I'm playing around in it and I'm in, because to plan a lot of content takes time. Like it could be 8 hours on a Sunday and you've just like planned out all of your posts and written your captions and found the best hashtags. So yes, Creator Studio for me, that's specific to Facebook and Instagram specifically. Canva, if you can afford a graphic designer to create your social media assets, Canva is really, what I love about them is that they're so reactive, right? They're just like, hey, now we're going to have templates that fit perfectly for IG stories. Hey, we're going to have things, and like, they know that videos are king. So now they have like animated social media posts that's technically a video. And it really could just be a girl throwing up glitter. And now that's a video, right? And that's like the header and whatever your caption is, whatever, you know, like Canva is, I can't say enough. And I just use the free version. I don't even know what amazingness would be unlocked if I paid for it. What other, just as a business person, not necessarily like social media, Calendly, and then .ly.
I want to own stock in Calendly. Calendly has saved my life. Yes. I love Calendly.
Yes. Like let's have a moment for Calendly, please. So
love it.
Calendly is basically an assistant without having an assistant. I pay for it. It is the best piece of money I have spent all year. I have 6 email addresses. That means I have 6 calendars. I'm a parent. I'm really tired. And what I hate, especially with all the Zoom and virtual meetings, what time do you have available? Do you have a quick 30 minutes? I'm just like, oh no. I'm just like, here's my Calendly link. I'm able to link all 6 of my calendars so that if I book something for BMC, it will be like, it takes it off of my calendar. So now I don't have to pick a time. Here's my Calendly. Pick a time that is currently available. I also do not set meetings for Mondays and Fridays. So that way, if I have to take a last minute emergency meeting, I know Mondays and Fridays are free. So it also means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are jam-packed, but I've set it up that way. And I have specific hours from 10 to 2, because I got to go pick up my son from school at 2:45. And I don't want to be like trying to rush off a call. So I'm just like, having Calendly has been a huge game changer in terms of just being able to organize my life and my calendar. I think I just saw something pop up in the comments about best hashtags. There's actually a website that I use called, I want to say it's like besthashtags.com. And then you put in the topic and it'll populate the top 10 or 20 hashtags used for that topic. So if I'm like events, it'll be like event planning, event planner, event planning, plannering. Like it'll just give you all of them. And then now those are the things that you copy and paste into your spreadsheet because you have a whole plan and a strategy. And then when you're putting them into your actual whatever tool, app, device, blah, 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 also realize that all these things should not be done from your phone, right? You can create your videos, but you're not going to edit on your phone and post from your phone. You really have to make sure that you are investing the time sitting down at your computer and planning all of this out. It is work. Social media is work. It's not just finding a picture. Again, I cannot stress enough. Please don't just go on Google and like, I'll do that every so often when I'm being really lazy and I need to get something up super quick, but I really try not to do that. I try to at least go into Canva where I know that it's stock images. There's a ton of Black-owned ones. Create Her Stock, nappy.co, not .com, .co, are 2 of my favorite Black stock websites. So it's free images of Black people, good images of Black people. Because you know, if you go to Google and Google Black mom and Black woman, you don't want to know the results. The results are normally
One more time.
So,
you said create her stock and
nappy.co, nappy.co. So
all right.
please, if you need good images of Black people doing at work, having a meeting, on a bench, chatting with friends, those are 2 really good websites where those models have already been paid. It's a Black-owned business. The quality is good. And now you can download those things, upload them into your Canva, create your asset. And now look, you have happy, shiny Black people doing things and posting on your social medias. So those are my, not necessarily apps, but like websites for sure.
To kind of piggyback and answer that hashtag question, hashtags are an enigma. And if you think that using hashtags that work for everybody will work for you, you've been lied to. Actually, the hashtags that you should use actually depend on how many followers that you have. So if you have 0 to 1,000 followers, hashtags that you use will be different from someone who has 7,000 followers versus someone who has 50,000 followers and someone who has 100,000 followers. The goal of hashtags is to be discovered. And I should do a training on this, but it's okay. We're going to do it right now. So if you go into Instagram and you click any one hashtag, there are 2 sections. There's one that's called top and there's one that's called recent. Your goal as a content creator is to rank in the top section. And so if you go now to Instagram and you click any one hashtag and you go, the first tab that you're actually placed in is the top section. And that just shows all the top posts that show up in the hashtag. So the reason for this, that the hashtags depend on the number of followers that you have. If I have 50,000 followers and I make a post, chances are I will rank in almost every hashtag that I use, depending on the size. And if you don't know, there are different sizes of hashtags. So there are hashtags with less than 200,000 posts. There are hashtags with less than 50,000 posts. There are hashtags with 500,000 posts. There are hashtags with 1 million, 200 million, etc. As a smaller content creator, your goal is to use 20 average. You want to use 20 hashtags that fall between 200,000, 50,000, 300,000. Reason for this is the chances of you ranking in those smaller hashtags, there's less competition in that top section is higher, right? What's the point? Why do we want to end up in the top hashtag section? That means that in 2 weeks from now, when I check out that hashtag and your post is in the top section, I will forever be discovering your content, right? Versus whether you use a big old hashtag with 24 million posts in it. As soon as you post, there's about 11 other people who have posted. Your post will never get discovered. You'll never rank in the top section. So generally, if you have under 1,000 followers, play around with majority of your hashtags being between 200,000, 300,000, 50,000. Don't go too small. Don't do anything with 10 or 20 or 2,000 followers unless your business is bound by locality. So example, I had a client. She sold Ankara dresses or African print dresses. She shipped only to the United States. What we found is we were getting a lot of followers, a lot of interest, and a lot of engagement by people who lived in Turkey. I was perplexed. Why Turkey? Turns out Ankara is a city in Turkey, which means that all of the people in Turkey were ranking for our post, okay? So Instagram is a global platform. It is a global platform, meaning that they have viewers and people all over the entire world. If your business is bound by locality, meaning if you are a nail tech and you only operate in Brampton, by all means, go hard in the Brampton hashtags. However, if your business is not bound by locality, there's no reason you should be using hashtags with 9, 10, 11,000. Start at 50,000, go up, play around on 200, 300, 400, drop a couple 5, 6, and 700s for visibility, but majority, you want to play it small to rank big. Okay, so with hashtags, if you have over 1,000 followers, now you want to increase the number of larger hashtags that you use. We're talking 500,000, 600,000, all the way up to 1 million. You want to rank there, and that's when it really becomes a content fest. You need to create content that has shareability factor, engagement factor. And if you're over 10,000 followers, the game is different for you as well. So when it comes to hashtags, I usually don't recommend these websites and these generators because ultimately they don't know the size of your account and they'll recommend you just any guy, any size, right? So I definitely say check out Dave Tallis on Instagram. He has a lot of content about hashtags on there. I have a Facebook Live on this topic as well. So maybe I'll drop a link about that there and you guys can kind of check it out. I give you 5 tips on how to utilize hashtags to make your content blow up. And all the viral posts that I've had have not been with ads. They've all been through hashtags. So hashtags work and you can go viral with them. You just have to be strategic.
I have a question for you, Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
So in terms of hashtags, is it better, and I feel like I know what the answer is it better for these hashtags to be in the caption or in the comments?
You always want to make sure that it's in the caption. Actually, no matter how ugly that they look, and I know most people drop it in the comments because it looks prettier and you don't mark your feed or what have you. Suck it up. You get 30% more visibility when you put it in the caption. So quit playing small, put them in there, put little dots in there, make it look cute. But at the end of the day, you reach more people if you put it in the caption.
Got it.
Okay.
Because I see that comment, I see that question so often about the comment versus the caption, and I'm just like, the school of thought has always gone back and forth. So I was just like, let me ask the pro. So now I know.
Ooh, okay. I'm out here I think I speak for all the attendees here. You see all of these notes here that I've just been like, okay, all right. These are some really good tips. I can't even say that. I can't express that enough. So we're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes. So there's so many questions. This is the most engagement that we're having. Like, everyone has all these burning questions, and because there's so much.
Nope.
There's always there's so much to know, right? It's like the more you know, then you realize the more you don't know. And there's always all these tips and tricks. So we're very, very grateful for Sarah and Tanya to be sharing all this like insights, right? And I think as we share this as a community, as we win, we all win, right? There's enough space in the pie for everyone, right? As opposed to thinking crabs in the bucket, right? To be able to get somewhere, you have to kind of put someone down or to be threatened by, someone else's success. And, there's so much room for collaboration and partnership, which a lot of you spoke on, both of you, earlier on this evening, right? And making those strategic partnerships, right? Based on your target audience. Where is your audience hanging out? Where are they going? Go there. And that the tip of monitoring those top 10 accounts, right? Whether it could be competition or it could be complementing business, right? And just really engaging and giving value. Like, you guys are giving a lot of nuggets here. So
that's a trade secret, y'all. Better not do it. Do it. It works.
Listen to her.
I think someone in the comments as well wanted to be able to connect with you as well, Sarah. I think it was somewhere above. If you are open to reaching out or connecting with people that have some questions, do let us know.
Yeah, honestly, the best way you can reach me, just send me an Instagram DM. Like, I'll be very responsive on Instagram, so I'll just drop that and just let me know, like, oh, hey, I was in Branded, and I'll be there for you, like, swimwear.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I'm sure everyone was wondering that. I'll leave it off with one last question that is fairly simple because we do have a few. We have to wrap up in about 2 minutes. The question was about Instagram TV. Is it being monetized now? Is it monetized?
To the best of my knowledge, no, not at this time, but everything that's being created right now, it's being created with the intention to monetize. So just continue to do your thing on Instagram, peddle your product, have a strategy, go hard and sell on your own and get people off the platform. These guys aren't looking out for you, man. I promise you. They want to take your money. I want to help them take your money. So please, just go hard organically.
Yeah, I would say my IGTV is only, I think, in the spring when everyone was bored and didn't know what to do, and then Versus started, and everyone was like, "Wait, stories, lives," and then it wasn't until I want to say September where now your lives save. Because remember before you would do this live and Versus what happened, and then it went away because Instagram was crazy. So now if you do something that's long, like an interview, like a teaching session, say you want to do an online course of some sort, but you want to do a freebie. So it's like, hey, y'all, Maddie James is like one of the goats of this stuff. She's US based, but she's still a goat. And she's having a freebie on Thursday. It's 45 minutes, I think it's probably going to be Zoom, but people are using these social media platforms has lead generators and ways to make sure that they're experts. Oh, wow, she's worth the follow. Oh my gosh, so much great content. Okay, yeah, I'm going to totally join her mailing list. And now they have you on their mailing list, and now they're going to be able to sell to you, and you're more likely to buy because you've seen how great their free content is. Look at me in Canva. I love free Canva. I'm just like, one day I know I'm going to bite the bullet, pay for Canva, then I'm going to be like, Canva stand forever. So it's no different. IGTV is just, I think, is really good. for super, like, when I say long, I mean 30 minutes or to like an hour.
Okay. All right. And so I've just gone and shared Sarah's Instagram page for all the attendees, just in case it did not go through directly from Sarah. There was a question here about a favorite social media planner you can recommend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was the recommendations of Candidly, was that, no. Calendly?
We didn't really, I don't think we really had one. We just said it depended on the platform and where the audience is. You have to, that comes first, right? Because
I think,
LinkedIn,
I think it's just a matter of preference. The one I personally use is called plan with 2 ends .that, or plan that 2 ends. I just like it because I found that none of the schedulers had a visual planning of an Instagram feed, and I like to see what the feed will look like. So I use plan that. There's an app, it's like light blue, 2 ends at the end of that plan. That's just my preference, because all of that mattered to me the most is being able to see visually where my stuff would be on the feed on a physical phone. I found that a ton of the other apps that I tried, I can't believe nobody had that capability. So that's what I use if anyone's looking for a tool specifically, but it all depends on you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Tanya, if you have your Instagram that you're able to share as well, if you could post that in the chat. We have some eager attendees asking as well too.
I'm on my phone, so I'm just like, I'm gonna be like this, but not, so you're gonna see my face right up close.
I can type it out if you'd like. I can put it in here.
Yeah.
Before I went.
Instagram.com/ you can find my biz one. I've got like 3, actually I have 4. I have a secret one. But the primary one I would send people to is the RSVP and Co. That's where I talk about like entrepreneurial things and event plannery things and whatnot. Black Moms Connection obviously has one, but that's Black Mom related. And then my personal brand one is the Tanya Hales, Tanyahayles.
Sorry. So the first one was the RSVP and Co.
Yep.
All right. And then the second one was
Black Moms Connection.
Okay. Perfect. All right. I will add that in here.
Tones.
Okay. Tanya's social. Okay. All right. Do you want to take a look at that and make sure I spelled that right? The RSV and Co. and Black Mom Connections. All right. So with that, I really want to thank you so much, Sarah Jane and Tanya, for joining us for this session this evening. It was amazing. The questions were on fire. We couldn't even get through all the questions. So I tried to pick the questions that I saw were more repetitive and answered majority of the burning questions that the attendees had. We want to thank you so much. And I want to remind all our attendees about tomorrow's fireside chat on pivoting, featuring the previous branded winners. That will be starting at 6 o'clock, and then there'll be the Ask an Expert session on client satisfaction at 7:30. So make sure you tune in. We're excited to see you there. Again, thank you so much for our lovely panelists for joining us today. And everyone, have a good night. I hope everyone took some notes.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.